Let's talk some Knicks basketball. Andrew, obviously being executive producer for Knicks Film School, to which he does such an amazing job. Interesting week for the Knicks, because on Tuesday, after the Knicks were bounced from the in-season tournament by the Bucks, shooting guard Quentin Grimes said he was not happy with his role in the team's offense. He's the second Knickerbocker to complain about this in a couple of weeks. Grimes has struggled shooting the ball recently. Then we see the change Friday against Boston. Grimes removed from the starting lineup, Donte DiVincenzo in. Grimes played better. He was a little more aggressive in Friday's game. But here's the question for me. Who's to blame for Grimes not feeling involved in the offense right now? Because when you look at the starting unit, they've been playing well. Before he got moved out, I think there were 6.4 points per 100 possessions. The bench was 8.2 points per 100 possessions. It's pretty good for both units playing. But who's to blame when you have players saying, like Grimes, they're not feeling involved in the offense?
So there's no one culprit here. I do think the head coach shares a little bit of blame. I know everybody's been begging for a more diverse playbook where it's less of a heavy isolation, a read and react type of offense. I do think the starting five that Quentin Grimes was a part of, he's just stuck with three isolation players that aren't great passers. Like Jalen Brunson, he's a 6-foot guard that is an isolation machine that is really good in the half court in isolation. We see it in clutch time how good he is. The problem is sometimes he can have some tunnel vision. Speaking of tunnel vision, he also shares the court with Julius Randle. And look, R.J. Barrett got off to this incredible start to the season. Then he went out with a knee injury and some migraines, and that version of RJ has not existed since coming back from the migraines. And look, I think Grimes was always frustrated being the fourth option on offense with those starters. The second unit plays with a little more ball movement. There also seemed to be a chemistry with DiVincenzo when he'd play with, like, you talked about the lineup data.
Yeah.
The starting lineup was a +6, the bench was a +8. Put Josh Hart and DiVincenzo in with the starters, and it was +24. Switch out DiVincenzo for Quickly, it was +30. So, like, there were other options at the two guard, which then brings me to the humanity of Quentin Grimes. And what I saw was a player that anytime he touched the ball, it was hot potato. And like he wasn't rotating into space at times to create passing lanes. Like there's multiple people involved, whether it's Tibbs not calling plays for him, the playmakers not trying to find him, but also Quentin Grimes kind of being in his head. He's a third-year player. He's still pretty young. Like that is a normal thing, especially when when you went down with a knee injury for a couple days, showed they have other options at your position. So my hope, I know the Celtics game put everybody down the dumps, but my hope is that we saw a version of Grimes that is a bit more aggressive, is in a system or with players that are much more easy to pass the ball to and going to look for him more. And, hopefully this gets squashed pretty easily.